Hey guys, a while back I did a video about boat organization. I basically took you through all the lockers in my boat and showed you how I organize it. And one of the comments that I got the most was exactly what are in the bags, what are in the boxes. So guess what? Today's video is going to be strictly about that. It's going to be about taking you through the bags, the boxes, showing you exactly what I have in there. This will be a multiple video series, so I'm going to take you kind of locker by locker. And so today what we're going to do is we're going to start behind the driver's side seat. I'm going to show you exactly what I have in my bags and in my boxes behind my driver's side seat. Some things have changed a little bit since the boat organization video, so let me take you there. So over here behind my seat I have a jig bag. I have all of my bladed jigs, spinner baits, swim jigs, scrounger heads, and then I have my terminal tackle. So these are weights, pegs, all that stuff. These are all hooks, things like that. And then I've actually got a finesse box that I take through there. Then I have like extra sunglasses in case my son needs them. A towel that is basically, you know, wipe my sunglasses off, wipe things off with. And then of course, my fire extinguisher over there. So first thing I'm gonna do is take you through the jig bag. So as you guys can see, I've got all my stuff laid out here from my jig bag. So clearly nothing left in there. Got a couple little miscellaneous stuff in there, but this is basically a bag label that says jigs. And it is basically all that, all my jigs. So as you can see, I got my football jigs, basically everything from 3/8 to 1 ounce. These are things that most of the time I'm going to be throwing out deep. So as you see, I don't have a ton of 3/8, ton of half, but I got a lot of 3/4 and 1 ounce. I got some 5/8 here, a little off the wall stuff. I got a bunch of structure type jigs, so 3/4, half, 3/8, quarter. Those I will pretty much throw all over the lake. And these are ones with a little bit more pointed head, something like that. I've got my slither rigs. These only go from half to 1.25 ounces. I'm planning on flipping this into thick stuff. And then you go to my flipping jigs, my flipping jigs. So I got those basically from 3/8 to 1 ounce, depending on, you know, what I'm flipping. I may be flipping more sparse stuff down to a little bit thicker stuff or deeper stuff. I got stand-up jigs, so something that's more of like a stand-up jig, like a Jordan Lee type jig, something with a flatter head that allows that jig to stand up more. Then I've got my finesse football jigs. These are light, 3/8, quarter. I'm gonna throw these a lot up in Minnesota, or maybe sometimes when the fish get a little bit more finicky. And then these are my skipping jigs, jigs that are really good for skipping under docks. I'm not gonna go any heavier than 3/8 or half. Something to just get underneath docks, things like that, that allows me to skip them way back up underneath there. Pretty much all the colors that are in these bags are some sort of you know, watermelon red, green pumpkin, black and blue. Got some PB&J stuff. That's pretty much all I've got in my jig bag. Reason for that is I try to keep it simple. Now as we go through some of the year, like maybe getting into summer, I may go with some summer crawl stuff, a little bit of chartreuse, things like that. But for the most part, I keep the colors simple now. So that is my jig bag. We'll move on to my other, which is all my moving baits. All right guys, so as you can see, I've emptied out my spinner bait, bladed jigs, swim jigs, scrounger heads, all that stuff is all over here. And basically what it is these are all my spinner baits, these are all my bladed jigs, and these are all my swim jigs. And then I have a bag of scrounger heads. I don't have a ton of them, I don't throw it a lot, but I do have them pretty much ranging anywhere from, you know, 3/4 ounce to or sorry, 1/2 ounce up to 1.25. My swim jigs, I have a pretty big array of swim jigs. They go all the way from 3/8 to 1 ounce. And then of course my bladed jig, same thing, 3/8 ounce all the way to 1.25 ounces. And then my spinner baits, I go all the way from 1/4 ounce all the way to 1 ounce and 3/8. Basically same thing. I try to keep the color simple, so a lot of whites, white chartreuses, you know, natural colors, and then some of the off-the-wall stuff, like I may have some orange blades and things like that in here. As you can see right here, I got some orange blades. You know, it just depends on what type of water, clarity, all that stuff that I'm fishing. Same thing with my bladed jigs. I like to stick with whites, natural colors, white chartreuses, things like that. And the same thing with my swim jigs. I'm gonna try to stick to pretty much all sorts of natural colors, you know, whether it be like a shad color, a natural color, bluegill color type pattern. That's what I'm gonna stick with my all of my moving baits like that. So next we got all the terminal stuff, so we're gonna get to that. All right guys, so these are my terminal boxes, and basically this one I have all weights in. I've got them organized by weight. I've got a few miscellaneous things, whether it be blades, pegs, beads, all types of stuff like that, but pretty much like all my weights. So I got these little swing heads, I got Carolina rig weights, I got all my flipping and worm weights, and then of course my big weights to punch with, stuff like that. I've got them all organized up here, as you can see. So that is my weight box. We go over to the hook box. I got all my hooks that I'm going to use on a daily basis, and even some of these are a little you know, like I got a bunch of wobble heads here, things like that. I got some swim bait hooks, and then of course some flashy swimmers, stuff like that. But all my hooks here, basically anything from flipping all the way down to finesse worm. So all that's organized really well. And then lastly, I come to this box, and this is like my finesse box. So once again, I mean, a lot of drop shot stuff, Damiki rig stuff, Neko rig, Ned rig. I've got all that stuff in there, nail weights. Any of that stuff is in this box, and I like to do that because I don't have to worry about digging through a bunch of different stuff to get to my hooks. I've got all my regular hooks, and then I've got all my finesse stuff. So anytime I go to a lake, where maybe in Minnesota, where I really need to finesse these fish, I've got one box that has all my finesse stuff. And I like it that way because I don't have to sit there and differentiate what's my regular hooks versus my finesse hooks. I've got it all done and down. That is pretty much it. I mean, that is what is behind my driver's side seat. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please like, subscribe, and comment below. Tell me what you think. If you like it, if you didn't like it, tell me what you think. Maybe a way that you think I could organize them a little bit better. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. See you next time.